Hey there everyone, Mazarok here, and today we're going to be looking at the two types of people that you're going to most commonly see at your Dungeons & Dragons table. Before we get on with the subject matter of this video, I do need to state that this is my opinion from many homebrew games, Adventure League games at comic book stores that I have DM'd for, and as well many of online games that I have DM'd for as well. And with that, let's begin. The first type of player that I notice quite a bit at the table is the one that's there for the game, to treat D&D as a game. These are the types of players that are most likely to min-max or optimize their builds for damage, or to be insanely really good at one thing, and they are a couple of things. They might multi-class to get expertise or anything like that, and things like that genre. And these are types of players where you need to have a better strategy involved with your combat. So if you have a battle map with minis, instead of just lumping up all of your enemies at one shot, these are the types of people that tend to like a little bit more strategy based. But as well, they like it when you give them combat scenarios that they're based or not even just combat scenarios in which they can thrive in, and they are built to thrive in. If these people have min-maxed a charismatic character for social encounters and you never give them social encounters, these are the types of people that they feel miss out on. They feel like they have missed opportunities, as well as people that just have min-max builds for maximum crazy damage. And so for those types of players, I tend to be a little bit more strategic with combat or social encounters. Those people, I will delve more into their stats and their character sheet, because they have built their character in such a way that it relies more on those, and they like having those big dice moments. They like not failing. And I mean, nobody likes to fail, but I've said this before, failure is fun. Failure can be fun, especially in Dungeons and Dragons. It can lead to many great scenarios, but these types of players try and minimize as much as they can the amount of possible failure options. So it's something to play with and toy around. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have people that are there for the narrative, story-driven people. These are the types of people that are most likely to give you a 9 to 10 page backstory, and they will work their stats according to their backstory. So what I mean there is, if in their backstory they had a lot of interaction with nautiloids, let's say, mind flayers, or something like that. Their town had taken over by it, this or that. They're going to take deep speech as a language, most likely, even if you give them the warning that there's going to be little to no deep speech in the campaign at all. Like, it's probably not going to be useful because they're running a giant-based adventure and there's literally 0 nautiloids and 0 great old ones or anything like that for deep speech. But these people don't care about that. They want to be able to know deep speech because it goes along with their narrative and their story. And these types of people tend to really enjoy the storytelling elements of D&D. They're not interested in doing 60 rounds of damage in combat. Don't get me wrong, it's nice, but it's not what they built their character around. So with these types of people, what I really like doing is I'll go through their backstory more. I'll tend to worry less about their character sheet, and I will delve more into their backstory than anything else. This is what they've put effort in to start with, so why wouldn't you as a DM? There's a very good chance that these people have written that, multiple page backstory, and they've quite literally designed their entire character and stats around that backstory. That backstory might involve them being terribly dexterous. They're not good at it. So they will reflect that stat accordingly, even though it's not optimal for them to do it. And so with all of this, what I've noticed is very rarely is anybody at either extreme of this. It's going to happen where you're going to get that one person who is literally all about the game. That's what we'll call it. They are literally about the game. They want to win the game. That's what they're there for. That's what they love. That's what they do. And they're there to win the game. And with the narrative people, it's important to have a properly constructed storytelling device. They want NPCs that they can talk to with plot hooks. And it's more about the story. It's not about the fact of getting the quest and going to kill the Medusa in the cave. Why are they doing this? What has the Medusa done? Is the Medusa evil? What has the Medusa done? Is it simply a creature that's trying to eke out its own existence in privacy, or is it actually being a threat? Does it have goals? These are the types of things that you have to start thinking about with the narrative-driven players, because it matters to them, and it adds a depth of game that they love. So it's not just enough to say, here, I have these monsters for you to fight, but you got to start delving into intentions and the backstories a little bit more of these monsters. Why are they doing what they're doing? And with that, so now you have these two types of players, and you're most likely what's always going to happen, because like I said, it's very rare that you're going to get even one player that is to the extreme opposite, or the extreme side of it. So it's important to realize that you're going to get a mesh of these players at your table, and they're going to be somewhere between that 25 to 75% marker. Like, one's going to be mostly about the game but loves the story. Another one's going to be mostly about the story but loves the game. So it's important to kind of do at least a little bit of all of it for everyone, and that's the way that I approach the games, and that's also going to change night by night. You might have a person that the first night that they come to the table, it's going to be all about the game. But then as the game goes on, they're going to be more interested in their backstory. They're going to have some nights where they show up for their session, and they're going to want more of a narrative experience. That's going to change back and forth. So it's really, really important to kind of take a quick judgment, not a quick judgment, but a quick assessment of where your players are at during the sessions. I personally like to use my little breaks for this. So on a 3-hour session, 4-hour session, I'll take a 10 to 15 minute bio break in between somewhere, and I'll just do a quick mind assessment. Like, where are these players are? Are they gravitating towards combat tonight? Are they gravitating towards narrative? And I'll try and kind of plan out the rest of my improv around that. And what I mean by improv or plan out the rest, I might have a combat encounter designed for the second half of the session, but what I'll do is I'll add a little bit more narrative to that encounter. But if the players tend to be just, I need to kill something tonight, that's their mentality, then that way I'll do it more as just a more combat, vicious-based encounter. But you can tailor these things according to the players at your table and how they're feeling that night. Because like I said, rarely is one on one side or the other completely all of the time. They tend to be a nice mesh between these two types. And I find that when you kind of work it that way and take that sort of mental approach to your sessions like that, you can really attune the game a lot better to your players and how they're feeling that night. But I feel that if you have these two, at least if you have some things categorized, you're more capable of making those judgment calls more quickly. I stream on Twitch every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, where I play World of Warcraft. I do a lot of PvE content. I am getting more into PvP as well. So if you like to see me kind of have fun raiding or raging at PvP, come on down to the Twitch. And I always love chatting Dungeons & Dragons while I'm doing this. So get on in that chat and ask me your DM questions if you have any questions about your session. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this type of content, like, comment, and subscribe down below. It goes a very, very long way. As well, if you'd like to support this channel directly, Patreon link is below, where I am attempting to put out weekly goodies for all of my patrons, and there are some free ones on there as well. And lastly, join us Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on Twitch for Rime of the Frostmaiden actual play Dungeons & Dragons. The first session was hilarious, to say the least, and we're going to be playing every week. Just please bear with us, we're getting through the technical difficulties of the video while I'm trying to find the best programs and such to make it enjoyable for everyone. Aside from that, see you next week.